Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be, yes, another transfer related video. We are in the month of January. There's going to be a lot of transfer talk and speculation, as we've already touched on in the previous video on the channel. So here, today, we're ready to continue on with that transfer speculation talk. We're going to be talking about the ins, the outs, and just a couple of things, 2 or 3 things on the topic for today's video. And as I promised in the last video, we'll have a more kind of in-depth look at what Celtic need in January and talk kind of position through position. Probably have graphics and that involved if we can. But today, we're just going to kind of have a short, as you know, 10-minute discussion on the stories that have been breaking over the past couple of days in the transfer world for Celtic Football Club, and talk about how they're going to affect the club and potential, departures is the main situation for today. Now, as we already know, Scott Sinclair has officially left the club and joined Preston. Sad to see him go, but we've already touched on that. The main topic for today is Odsonne Edouard. Now, it's out there now. Everybody knows. Everybody has already reacted to the kind of the news of Brendan Rodgers wanting to steal Edouard away from us. Now, I use the word steal, that's probably a bit harsh. Celtic fans have their opinions on Brendan Rodgers after leaving the club about a year ago now, but he has came out and said how Odsonne Edouard would be, kind of ideal signing. Leicester have been dabbling around the possibility of perhaps signing Odsonne Edouard from us for a fee of around £30 million, and that kind of blows everything this transfer window apart for Celtic. It kind of changes the perspective and changes everything for Celtic. The fact is, if Edouard was, we'll talk about the kind of negatives, because it's all negatives if Edouard leaves. There's no point. Yes, I suppose the main positive is it's £30 million. That's a lot of money. Celtic have never received a fee for a player like that before. The closest being Kearty, and they're leaving for around 24-25 million pound mark. But if Edouard was to leave the club, there are so many negatives, so many questions that come along with it if he was to go. Now, the fact that Leicester are looking at him is no surprise. The fact that Rodgers would like to be reunited with Odsonne Edouard is no surprise at all. Rodgers was the one who brought him to Celtic, saw the potential in him, signed him for that £9 million fee, which was a risk at the time. As we know, it was a fee that Celtic have never splashed out on a player before. It's no surprise, because Edouard is a player of a top calibre, a very, very exciting, very young, very promising and talented player. We've seen that, we know that firsthand. We rant and rave every week in the conversation of who the best player in the country is, and we try and display the case that it is Odsonne Edouard. This is a guy who's came from PSG, a guy who's been brought up through a very, very talented and very good youth system over in France. He's got a big career ahead of him, and he would fit right in at Leicester. Leicester right now are obviously sitting in a position where they will be, what looks to be a position where they will qualify for the Champions League next year. It's a proposition that Edouard, who has already said would love to play in the Premier League, would find very hard to resist. And that is the kind of saddening part. You'd hope, and you'd have liked to have thought after everything that Rodgers already done, it would stay away. But you can't blame, sadly interrupted there, but as I was saying, you can't blame Rodgers for wanting to bring a player like him into the Leicester squad, because it would do nothing but enhance their chances of A, pushing for Champions League football, but B, pushing that envelope of trying to remain a top 4 side in England. It would be a fantastic addition to the quality they've already got there. But if he leaves Celtic, and this is a conversation, we're already in a position where we're looking for strikers to be number 2 and number 3 at the club, because the backups that we've already got in Lee Griffiths and Bayo are just not good enough. So if Edouard goes, we are left with pretty much no striker, and it looks as though we've not made a great deal of progress in signing what is a backup striker. So what sort of progress are we going to make to signing a first team striker if Edouard goes? If Edouard goes, that is a great deal of quality, not only up front, but in the team going. It's an integral part in that spine of the team that would just be vanished. And yes, we do have a lot of money to spend there, but we know what the transfer record is like for Peter Law with the money that has been brought in. We have spent well in the summer. We brought in the likes of Julian for £7 million. We spent money on Bolly and Golly. But up front, it's going to be hard to find a player of the same quality of Odsonne Edouard with the limitations that we would put on Neil Lennon to sign a striker, because he's not going to be given the whole £30 million to go out and find someone. It would be an ideal world if we could, but who is going to come to Celtic? And we have this conversation all the time. What strikers of a top quality, of a £30 million quality, are going to come to Celtic to play in the Scottish Premiership? It's a sad conversation to have. I'd never like to look at it like that, but it's just the reality of football. People want to move to England, people want to move to Germany. Scotland isn't on the top of the bucket list for a lot of players. Now, we had the conversation about the strikers we're looking at. The one that is, the main one that pops out in my head that I would like to sign is Spurrar. Got the boy from Le Havre as well that we spoke about the other day. If Spiral was brought in, that'd be fantastic. That's a guy who scored, I think, 20 goals in 26 games this season. He's been linked with moves to teams like Sporting Lisbon, who are a calibre such as ourselves, playing in the Europa League, one of the top sides in Portugal. He's had a spell at Basel. He's a guy who looks very promising as well. We've been urged to sign him from a former Celtic great in Lubo Moravcik. He would be a fantastic addition, but it's that risk of, we need to keep Eduard here till the end of the season. I have no doubt in my mind that in the summer Eduard will probably be gone. But January is not a time to lose odds on Eduard, especially with how close things are at the top and how we want to progress in Europe as well. If Eduard goes, that's a lot of the kind of potential for us moving forward in Europe gone. I would say not fully gone. We've still got a great team around that. We've still got a great starting 11 around Eduard. It also makes the conversation for pushing Rangers away out of the league title challenge a little bit harder. And I've already spoken about how confident our Celtic can go on to win 9 in a row, but I do firmly believe Eduard has to be here to make 9 in a row a very, very good possibility. A very realistic possibility. I think it's still a realistic possibility, but with Eduard here, for me, it just makes it a lot more comfortable, a lot more confident for us fans and the players. Eduard leaving brings a detrimental effect, I think, around the whole squad, especially in the middle of a season. It's not an ideal time to lose your best player, and Eduard is our best player. So hopefully we can hold off from letting odds on Eduard leave in January. Brendan Rodgers, I imagine, would like to throw everything at that if he can. But Leicester, look, if they can hold on to their best players, such as James Maddison, who's been linked with a move away to Manchester United, there is no real need for them to get Eduard right now. And if we could hold on to the end of the season, it would be fantastic. You could look at the possibility, maybe Leicester saying, right, we'll sign him, but you can have him on loan at the end of the season. Would you take that? Would that be something that you'd accept? I would honestly take the £30 million as long as we kept him at the end of the season if they allowed him to be loaned back until the end. Because I do think he will be off in the summer anyway. I don't think he'll be here for 10 for the season where we push for 10 in a row. So realistically, we're going to have to deal with the departure of Eduard at some point, but we need to try our best to keep our hands on him until the summer transfer window, no matter how tempting the fee may be. And Eduard, obviously, he'll want to progress with his career. We've got to listen to him as well. It's a two-way sort of thing. All parties have to be sort of acknowledged in this situation. But losing him would be horrid. And until we have at least a backup striker, the conversation for looking for a first-team striker just changes everything. The second story to come onto in this video is the Filip Benkovic kind of situation. At the start of the window, there was talks about maybe Celtic going back in, and this could be implemented as well with an Eduard deal. If you think about it, if Rodgers was really that desperate to bring Eduard into the club, he could say, right, we'll take Benkovic, take him on loan, or take him permanently, whatever. Neil Lennon's agent was snapped earlier this week, meeting up with Filip Benkovic, or he bumped into him, whatever. Since then, Neil Lennon's agent has kind of came out and said, oh, look, it's not transfer related, but there was rumours at the start of the window, and the rumours are still going on now. Celtic fans have been given their reaction to this. Would Filip Benkovic add something to the squad? Yes, I don't think he's that situation where he come in and come straight into the first team. I do believe Ayer and Julian have a decent wee partnership going, but there is no denying at the spine of that team, and especially at centre-back, we do need more depth, because after that, what is it, Baton, who's not a natural centre-half, and Siminovic, who's dabbling in and out of injury, and not the greatest of players. We would do with a quality player like Benkovic. We've seen how good he was in his first spell at the club. And now this kind of just brings up all the rumours and such again. I think there is a realistic chance of that happening. He's not getting implemented in that Leicester squad. I think Leicester are very comfortable with their partnership at the back with Sionku and the other guys around him. Look, to bring him back to Celtic, I think would be a very smart decision in a loan deal. So hopefully that meeting with Neil Lennon's agent has kind of brought something to it. But as I've already said, he has come out and said it's not transfer related. But, there's obviously could be something lying underneath that. Because you would, I mean, come on. It's like Neil Lennon's agent, Filip Benkovic, meeting. Don't know. There's a long way still to go in this transfer window. Still another 20 odd days left in it. But as I said, it can be implemented into an Eduard deal. Ideally, we keep our hands on Eduard. And finally, Spiral, the man who we've already touched on, the rumours still going on about him. We've been urged to sign him from Lubo Moravcik. A fantastic record. I think, for me, he is the kind of main priority for the striker sort of situation. Yes, we spoke in the previous video about the Le Havre striker who has a fantastic, his name, Kadewere. I'm still not too sure how you pronounce it. Yes, he does have a fantastic record as well, but I think Spiral is someone who's proved in both Europe and in domestic competition for Bratislava that he can do it, he can score goals. I think he's a guy who could come in, and yes, we did kind of say that about Bio was scoring goals for the team he played for previously before Celtic. But that, I think there's a little more kind of to this. There's a little more kind of faith and confidence that this guy can come over to Scotland and score goals. And yes, he may step into the role if Edouard left and become the first team striker. But if he's a number 2, I think he'd be a very happy, very welcoming number 2 striker to bring into the club. But that is... The Edouard story is the main one. That is the main focus of it. It's kind of blowing everything. And Leicester are not the only team looking at him. You know, we had the rumours of Palace looking at him earlier in the season. There will be other teams in England, no doubt, monitoring the progress of Odsonne Edouard, because he's a terrific player. And that is the exact reason we have to come around. Celtic, do everything in your power to make sure he remains at the club, please. Anyway, that does it for this video. As I said, more in-depth stuff coming. I've got work and stuff on it, and that's why I kind of have these kind of 10-minute sit-downs more than more in-depth, graphic-based sort of discussion videos. If you have enjoyed, though, make sure to hit like and subscribe. It would be much appreciated. And see you all next time.